Have you ever walked into a room and instantly feel like you don't belong there? Like everyone else knows exactly what they're doing, everyone else seems confident, and they fit in place, and you're just hoping nobody notices that you have no idea what's going on. I think almost everyone has felt that at some point, more, less, some more than others, whether it's starting a new job or starting a business or going to the gym for the first time. And the weird thing is, when you look around at the people who seem the most confident, I bet you 99% of those people are actually just trying to figure it out themselves. Even the ones who seem like they belong everywhere they go. They're just trying to figure it out. They probably know just as much as you, they just don't show it. And the thing is, most of those people learn something that most of us never get taught. Sometimes confidence comes after action, not before it. And that's where this idea comes in that you've probably heard before, the saying that goes, fake it till you make it. It's something that got brought up recently in my life, and I've been thinking about it kind of nonstop recently the past few weeks. My girlfriend's stepdad actually brought it up to me. He said to me, it was during a time that I was changing careers and I didn't really know what I want to do. And he told me, and I had some ideas of what I wanted to do, but I wasn't sure if I was ready for it. I wasn't sure if I was quite qualified to put my name out there for these certain careers. And he looked at me and he said, fake it till you make it. And I laughed and he gave me this serious look like, bro, why the fuck are you chuckling at me? And it kind of scared me for a second because my laugh turned to like an awkward, like, ha ha. And because he was so serious, like he had this stone cold look on him. And he said, no, really, fake it till you make it. He said, when I was starting off, when he was starting off working different jobs and wasn't sure what he was doing, and before he started his business and started making money, when he was first trying to figure everything out for his life, his ex-wife's father told him, fake it till you make it. And he said, I had the same reaction when he told me it. But he said the person that told him that was genuine as well. And it really makes sense when you think about it. Because that's all he told me was just think about it. Like, go home, not right now, enjoy your night, but go home later and think about it. And he said, like, when you go to bed tonight, think about it. Or when you go home, think about it. Like, it really makes sense. And we never talked about it much after that. He just said, like, besides telling me the story that the man told him this, and he said that even if it's someone asking you to drive a crane, you tell them sure thing and you figure it out on your way up. You figure it out while you're there because you just got given an opportunity to do something new, so go take it. And I think it was those words that when I really started thinking outside of the fake it till you make it, and I thought about that part of it. Take an opportunity, chasing opportunity, and betting on yourself. That's what this saying's about. And I was like, oh shit, my eyes kind of opened. And now I know that phrase, and I know that's not how everyone takes the phrase, and you probably thought of it more as like a lying thing, because I know that that phrase can sound kind of weird. Some people hear it and immediately think it means being fake or pretending to be something that you're not. But that's not really what it means, or at least that's not what I established over the past couple weeks. It's not about lying to people. It's about stepping into a version of yourself that you're still growing into. It's about being confident in yourself. It's acting like the person you're trying to become before your brain fully believes that you are that person yet. And honestly, that's how a lot of growth actually works. You take the chance, if you're given an opportunity, for example, to my father-in-law's scenario, for the example that was given to him, if you're given an opportunity to do something new at a job, if it's going to run new equipment or, be in charge of something different, you tell them, yeah, I'll do it. I know how to do it. And you give yourself this blind confidence and you just bet on yourself, right? Because if you know personally that you're capable of doing that, hell yeah, take that opportunity, right? Even though maybe on paper you're nearly not ready for it, or on paper you're not really able to do it, or maybe you haven't had the training for it. But if you've seen it enough and you have faith in yourself, fucking fake it till you make it. Like, the more I think about it, it just makes sense to me. And I just wish someone would have told me this sooner when I was younger, right? Like, I know there's been opportunities and jobs in the past that I could have done more. I could have gotten more experience doing different things, or doing different jobs and different tasks, and, actually taking the lead on some things. But I always told myself, oh, well, I'm not qualified, or, oh, no one trained me, or, oh, I don't really know what I'm doing. And then the opportunity kind of disappears and the person offering it just kind of says, oh, okay. And sometimes even that person giving you the offer, they wouldn't offer it to you unless they knew that you were capable, right? So it's almost like, you don't only get rid of an opportunity, but now someone who's trusted in you has a little less trust in you. So you kind of just gave up an opportunity that's not going to come back because now they know, all right, he doesn't have confidence in himself, right? Like, I don't know, like, yeah. And if you just think about it in general. How many opportunities in life do people miss simply because they convince themselves they weren't ready yet? They'll see a job posting and immediately start disqualifying themselves. I don't have enough experience. I'm not as good as the other candidates. I should probably wait until I know more. Like, brother, you don't know who the other candidates are. I've applied to jobs and heard about the other candidates, and I may have still not got the job myself, but there was people far worse than me applying for jobs. You have to understand something. What's the worst that's going to happen if you apply? And I know we're just using the example of jobs, but what's the worst that's going to happen if you apply to a job that you're not, quote unquote, qualified for? They don't give you, they send you an email, give you a phone call. Yeah, you don't get an interview. So what? If you think you wasn't qualified for the job, but if you thought you wasn't qualified for the job, then what difference does it make if you don't have an interview? But at least you applied. I mean, think about the great opportunity you would have had if you would have had an interview, and then you would have took a chance again on possibly getting the position. You know what I mean? Like, you should take advantage of anything you got. You shouldn't have self-doubt of yourself or anything like that. Like, meanwhile, someone else who might honestly know the exact same amount as them just applies anyway. And that's what you should do, right? Not because they are magically more talented, but because they had the confidence to step forward when everyone else stepped back. And then once they're in that position, they learn what they need to learn. They grow into it. And I imagine people in those kind of positions, they have this gratitude for being there, and then they're just putting the amount of work in to learn on the spot, learn as much as they can. Yes, you're faking it a bit because you really probably weren't as qualified for the position, but hell, now that you're here, now it's time to put the work in and get qualified for the position. And in general, a lot of jobs are like that in the sense of like they'll train you on the job if you're not 100% qualified, right? And so then these people that get that job, they grow into it and they become the person that job requires. And that's it. That's fake. That's fake it till you make it. So let me just paint another picture and try to like sum up everything I'm trying to get out of my head without ranting and going on tangents too much. Imagine walking into the gym for the first time. You're looking around and everyone seems like they know exactly what they're doing. People lifting heavy weights, people moving with confidence, people who look like they've been there forever. And you're standing there thinking, I have no idea what I'm doing. But here's something nobody tells you. Almost every single person in that room had a first day exactly like that. They felt awkward, they felt out of place, they might have been embarrassed to use certain kinds of machines. I know me personally, when I first started going to the gym, I hated doing pull-ups. It was something I knew I had to work on because my upper body strength was fucking whack, but I was so embarrassed to do them because I'd have to use like the resistance bands and tie it to the top and put my foot through because I couldn't do pull-ups by myself. Or I couldn't do enough to actually get a workout in. I could do like one or two, but then I couldn't put no more reps in. So whenever the gym was kind of low on body count and no one was around, I would use the resistance band to help, help me be able to pull myself up so I could actually get a good amount of reps in and train my muscles to get used to that motion. But I wouldn't do it when the gym was full because I was too nervous and I felt out of place. But the thing is, we just keep showing up, and eventually we start moving with more confidence. Eventually we will look like we belong there, and just like all the other people in the gym. But at the beginning, a lot of that confidence was kind of borrowed. They acted confident until the confidence became real. Again, this is the whole idea of faking it till you make it. Act confident, and then the real confidence will come afterwards. We kind of get like a self-doubt in our head, and it becomes really difficult to kind of fake being confident. But there's actually a psychological idea behind this too. Your brain pays attention to your behavior, right? So if you consistently act like you're unsure of yourself, your brain starts reinforcing that belief. So it's all about kind of trying to shift our mindset, because like we truly have all the power to be whoever we want to be, physically and mentally. We really can shift our mindset. It may take time, and it's not something you can change overnight. If I'm someone who's sad and depressed and I just have a poor outlook on life all the time, I'm not going to be able to wake up the next morning and be like, I love life and everything's great. It's something I got to change gradually over time, right? But if you act like someone who believes in themselves, even a little bit, your brain's going to start adjusting to that too. Again, over a long period of time, but it will adjust. you can make those changes. Even the philosopher William James talked about this idea in a really simple way. He said, act as if what you do makes a difference, because it does. In other words, your actions shape your beliefs more than you think. This will even show up physically in your body. When someone carries themselves with confidence, even if they're nervous inside, their posture changes. I don't know if any of you have learned about body language, but in school, if you learn about body language, if you pay attention to someone's body language, you can really tell what's going on in someone's head. When someone carries themselves with confidence, even if they're nervous inside, their posture changes. They stand up straighter, they make more eye contact, their voice becomes more steady. And interestingly, people respond to them differently. Researchers like Amy Cuddy have talked about how body language alone can actually influence how confident you feel internally. Your brain reads signals from your body, so if you act like someone who belongs in the room, your brain slowly starts believing that you do. And that's kind of magical. Like seriously though, again, it's so fascinating that you truly can become whoever you want to be, and you can make these changes. And it seems so simple. Like when I read about it or I go online and I read this, it's like, oh my God, this seems so simple. I mean, it's harder than what it sounds, but it's still crazy that you can do this. It's like playing GTA 5 and I go spend that couple $100,000 so I can change my character over because I want to make him look even more ridiculous than what he is, right? Change him up a bit and change his mindset maybe too a little. Now, obviously, there's an important line here because fake confidence is not the same thing as fake skill, although it applies and it doesn't apply in some areas, I would say. For instance, I would not want to go to the hospital that you're pretending to be a doctor at. There's a lot of years of training and knowledge that you got to have to be a doctor. That's not stuff you learn overnight. That's not something you can figure out on the fly. Maybe you could help somebody out on the fly if you're in an emergency response situation. But I don't know if you could go be a doctor at a hospital full time or a brain surgeon, right? I'm sorry, but I'm staying clear of whatever hospital you guys are going to be working at. You can't pretend to be a doctor if you've never studied medicine, right? You can't fake expertise forever. And like I said, maybe in special scenarios, if you're helping somebody, there's something you can learn on the fly, maybe. Eventually the work has to kind of catch up. But confidence is often what gives you the chance to learn in the first place. Confidence is what opens doors. Effort keeps them open, right? And this whole concept of being blindly confident and faking it until you make it has been done by many famous people, and you can see it throughout people's careers. A huge example would be taking Muhammad Ali. He famously said so many times, I am the greatest. Well, yeah, of course, he is the greatest. But the crazy thing is, he was saying that before he actually became the greatest of all time, at the time. People thought he was arrogant at the time, but in reality, he was just building an identity. He had blind confidence in himself. Obviously, Muhammad Ali wasn't faking it. He was still a great boxer, but he was using that blind confidence and already telling people that he was the greatest. He was telling himself in his brain and impersonating, saying, I am the greatest. Even though he hasn't proved it yet, he's telling you already, I'm the greatest. And he made it come to life. He was convincing himself first, then after that mindset shifted, and eventually the world caught up. He convinced himself, and then the world got convinced as well. Even people like Steve Jobs were known for having an almost unbelievable level of confidence in their ideas long before anyone else believed in them. And you have to understand that order too. These two famous people had to convince themselves first before convincing the world that they were great at what they were doing. Think about that. How many times have we tried to convince and lie to people or try to put on a big show or a look for friends or family or peers or for the public eye for people to make us think we look cool, rich, or confident, but we ourselves never truly believed it? That kind of hits hard with me a little bit, I know I've done that a lot growing up. I don't know how many times I've tried to make myself look confident, cocky, and smart or whatever, but truly, I had never truly convinced myself first, so I looked stupid almost. And I know people could probably look through me and be like, nah, this guy's faking it, because I didn't have that true confidence in myself. And knowing me personally, I was always kind of awkward growing up, so I couldn't pull off the super confident look as easily. But I know I tried. But that's the thing. I never truly fully convinced myself first. When you convince yourself first, convincing everybody else afterwards is easy. Now, going back to what we were talking about, when you start opportunities and what we were talking about earlier, when you start stepping into bigger opportunities, when you start putting yourself in rooms you're not completely comfortable in, you're probably going to feel something called imposter syndrome, which is a real thing. That feeling where you think eventually people are going to realize I don't belong here. That feeling is way more common than people realize. In fact, a lot of highly successful people still experience it. The difference is they don't let that feeling stop them from showing up. They keep learning, they keep growing, they keep becoming the person that role requires. And honestly, if you think about it, almost every major step forward in life starts this way. Nobody feels completely ready to start a business. Nobody's ready to become a leader. And nobody feels completely ready to chase a dream. There's always some uncertainty. There's always some fear. So if you wait until you feel fully confident before you start, you might end up waiting forever. Sometimes the confidence only appears after you take the first step. So all in all, maybe fake it till you make it isn't really about being fake at all. Maybe it's just about giving yourself permission to grow into a bigger version of yourself. Maybe it's all about building a blind confidence that you can truly believe in yourself. It's about walking into opportunities with the mindset of, I might not know everything yet, but I'm capable of learning it. That mindset alone can completely change the direction of your life. Because the truth is, a lot of doors in life don't open for the most qualified person. They open for the person who is brave enough to knock. And if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this. You're not faking being skilled. With this saying, you're not faking being skilled. You fake being brave. Because skills can be learned and experience can be gained. But the decision to step forward when you're unsure of yourself, that's where growth actually starts. And that's when you start to build that confidence in yourself. So then afterwards, you can then convince the world how confident you are. If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe, and tell me what you think. What's your thoughts on the whole fake it till you make it idea, and do you think I make a good point about it? I think it's a very interesting saying, and the thought process around it's quite interesting. Leave a comment down below and discuss. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good day.